Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today, what I want to talk about are, I guess, they're secrets of watch collectors. These are things that a bunch of watch collectors, we talked, and these are some of the things they came up with that I thought were important. But anyway, time is short, so let's get going. The one thing that they all said was that especially if you're new to watch collection, but even if you're not, do your research. If you if if you don't, you're going to waste money or spend more than you have to, and oftentimes you're not going to enjoy the watch. So if you do your research, that's the most important thing. What do you research? Well, you research the movements, the brands. You have to learn the difference between a popular watch and a high quality watch. Information resources, where do you get the information? There are a lot of different places. Couple places there are a lot of, like these online videos. Some are better than others. Some are like selling you something, and some aren't, and you have to sort of filter out which ones will try to sell you anything versus ones that are trying to help you. Some things to look for: the Geneva Seal. You don't see a lot of those. COSC is a sort of a chronometer, saying that this watch meets chronometer standards. So if you see the word chronometer on it, that means it's been tested a lot more. The GPHG, what is that? That's sort of the Academy Award of watches. It stands for the Grand Prix d'Horlogerie de Genève. And it's gphg.org, and you can go there and you can see the watches that have won awards or been nominated for awards, just like you can look it up in the Academy Awards. That's a place I like to use a lot. The question is about the best information. When you go to different watch groups, you have watch groups or watch videos. This is a decision that you've got to make, and it can be very hard. If you go to a watch group and they have the kind of watches you like, the kind of attitude you like, everything about them you like, they would be the ones for you. If they're not, move on. All right. I've been to some I've really liked and found very valuable. Other ones, not so much. So this is something that you're going to have to spend some time. So before you go out and spend a lot of money on a watch, if you don't do your research, your chances are you're going to not get what you want and you're going to pay too much for it. Now, the second thing is to be skeptical. And by being skeptical, there's the old saying, if a deal is too good to be true, it usually is too good to be true. It's not true. And the only way to really know is going back to the first tip, is do your research. If you go to a watch ad, you're going to find out what the watch ad says. I mean, if you go to a Patek Philippe ad, they used to say, I don't know if they still do this, but they'll say something like, you never really own a Patek Philippe. It's for your next generation. And they show these people who are clearly very wealthy, usually very white. And if that's what you want, that's what you want. But what you're getting is what's more important. But be skeptical. If you're not, and you believe everything and anything you see, then there's not much hope for you. All right away. Now, the third thing appears to be self-obvious, and it's not for some reason. and that is shop around. It's just to get, I mean, it took me 5 minutes to find a really good example. Here's one of a Patek Philippe Gondolo. The reference number on it is 512 4J, 5124J. Okay. Now this is how easy this was to find the differences. I went to a place called Chrono 24. I ordered the watches from low to high. It'll let you order them in different ways, and I always like to do it from low to high. And the lowest one was $15,153, and the highest one was $22,500. Well, that's a $7,000 difference. Now you say, well, there must be a difference. Not necessarily. Neither one of them, I think, had the papers. Well, maybe, wait, I think the second one had papers. Let me tell you something. When I got my Patek Philippe Calatrava a number of years ago, I wrote to Patek Philippe and said, I'd like to get the papers on this. They said, okay, 125 bucks or 125 Swiss francs. And give us this information, and I gave them that information, and they sent it to me, and that was all there was to it. So I had papers, I mean, really good papers, and they traced it all the way back to, I think it was first sold from Patek Philippe on the 4th of July, which I thought was sort of cool. But you know, if you don't shop around, what's gonna happen to you is you're gonna pay $22,500 to get the watch, and it's the watch you wanted, and your best friend, who is also a big mouth and know-it-all, is gonna get the one for $15,153, and you know, so shop around. You can find some quality difference. If a watch looks banged up, and they say it is, which they often don't, they'll say minor scratches or something like that. Yeah, I can see that. You have different dealers, different countries, papers and boxes. I don't pay that much attention to. I mean, they talk about fake watches. Well, I'll tell you, with my laser printer, I could phony up just about any papers you'd want. And as far as the box is concerned, the box goes in the closet, and I have no use for it. What you want is the watch. So when you shop around, I don't know how important those things are. Now, the final thing is today, it doesn't matter where you live. You could live in anywhere, Mud Puddle, North Dakota, or New York City. The online shopping is going to give you far more selection, prices, and everything else. Probably the two biggest places for both selling and buying watches online are Chrono 24. This is for watches, and eBay. The nice thing about Chrono 24 is that they will, when you buy the watch, they'll put it in the money for it in escrow. Once you get the watch, if you get a fake or it's not the watch you ordered, you tell them right away and say, this is not it, I'm sending it back, and they'll send your money back, and you'll be all set. I did that once, and the guy never sent me the watch. And so I simply went to Chrono 24 and I said, hey, it's been this amount of time. The guy never sent me the watch. So if you wouldn't mind, just send me my money back. And they did. And it was as simple as that. There's a place called Joma Shop and Shopworn. There's some other places too. Online, Joma Shop and Shopworn are online. There's pretty much for buying watches. You can sell some through there sometimes, but usually you can find great discounts there. I mean, this is for brand new watches. Now, let me say something really quick. They're often referred to as the gray market. There's nothing gray about them. They're a secondary market. What happens when manufacturers can't sell all of a certain model of a watch? They go to places like Joma Shop and Shopworn. They say, will you guys buy these watches, and you can sell them for whatever you want. There are no restrictions on it. And so you can get huge discounts on watches, and I mean big discounts. Sometimes you get little discounts, but you can get some big ones too. Um, Online auctions. This online auctions, I've had I've had good luck on two ends of it. The problem with an online auction is that they have what's called a buyer's premium. I think I shopped at the top ones are Phillips, Sotheby's, Christie's. Those are top, well-known auction houses where you can get really spectacular watches. Most of the watches there are your really top-notch watches. The buyer's premium is 25% over what you pay for. So if you let's say get a watch for $10,000, they're going to charge you an additional $2,500. That's what's called the buyer's premium. There's nothing premium about it. In other words, that's what the buyer ends up paying. Now, if you're paying $12,500 for a watch set would otherwise be $20,000, then it's a good buy. Otherwise, look around before you do that. International. One thing that I can tell you right away: do not ship gator straps. I don't care where you got it. It can be the most legitimate strap in the world, but there's something called CITES, and CITES is a very good thing. It keeps people from shipping endangered species. The problem, I mean, you get something from a left-handed snake or something, and that's really rare, and that CITES will stop those kinds of things, or ivory, and so you don't see all these dead elephants. The problem with it is that there are legitimate gator farmed gator straps, but unless you have this huge amount of paperwork, they won't ship it. So buyer beware on that one. Don't ship them. The thing to do is take your band off, ship it separately. The reason I say ship it separately, if it's a legitimate one, ship it separately, and then ship your watch without the band on it. And then if it is found to be a band type of gator strap, they'll keep the strap, and that's all you lose. Otherwise, they'll keep the watch. So you don't want that to happen. Customs, DHL has a thing when you go through customs, they will send you an email. They say, you want to pay the customs? You say yes, and give them your credit card, and it's all done. With FedEx, if you have a FedEx account, life is so much easier. What they do is they'll charge whatever the customs and taxes are to your FedEx account, and that's it. Bob's your uncle. Europe, both England as well as the EU have something that's called VAT. It stands for value added tax. It's just a tax. And that's about 25%. That's a lot. So if you buy, again, a $10,000 watch and you ship it to somebody in there, they're going to pay that 25% on top of the 10,000. So again, it'd be 12,500, just like the buyer's premium. You have to be aware of that. If you live in the EU or a place where they have that kind of tax, you should know about it. Well, look, these are just a few of the secrets. They're not very secret, but there's some tips. And you just have to, if you're aware of them, you're going to find a watch you're going to like better. You're going to pay less for it, and I think you have more fun with it. And by the way, let me say this, the last thing I want to say about research. Enjoy it. If you're a watch collector, you should enjoy learning everything about watches. One of the top places to go to learn about movements and what is in a movement that's not exactly clear is a place called watchbase.com, and you'll find out what's really in a watch. A lot of times they use these names that sound like, well, this is an expensive watch, an expensive watch company, but it's a cheap movement, and they try to disguise it with using these different names. watch base will usually find it for you. Anyway, you got any tips you want to add to this or secrets? Let us know. This is an opportunity to subscribe if you like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection.